The United States men's national team just defeated Oman 4-0 in a match that felt like it could have had a lot more goals against an opponent that was not very good. But hey, you can only beat the opponents that they give you, and the boys got it done. But what did we learn? Hi, if you're new here, I'm Filippo, and welcome to Tactical Manager TV, and welcome to the 7 Things We Learned series, where every single day following a U.S. men's national team match, we tell you 7 things we learned. And you can tell me in the comment section down below, what did you learn from United States 4, Oman 0? And it was very tough to get 7 lessons for this video. No, seriously, I had to really squeeze it out. You know, kind of like when you go to the bathroom and you're constipated. That's what it felt like. I had to really squeeze this out. So why don't you let me know what you learned and drop a like in this video to beat constipation. Oh, and of course, let us know in the comment section down below if you want us to do a full recap of this camp, breaking down each game and also rating the camp, if it was worth it or not, or if it was just a big waste of time. All right, let's just start the episode. Just roll the intro. Lesson number 1 is, in this game against Oman, there was a lot of good and not that much bad. However, none of the good is validated because of the opponent. What do I mean by that? It's still good, and it means we want to see it in the future again, but it's not the ultimate absolute truth. Okay, let me try to explain this better. What I mean is, we weren't tested enough to validate any of the good moments, but I want to use the good things we learned to try them against better opponents, if that makes any sense. So it doesn't mean it was useless. All it means is now what worked, we need to test it against real competition. Now, the things that didn't work, you most certainly don't want to try them again. The thing with this camp in general, and this game against Oman, which was a terrible opponent, and no offense to Oman in regards to that, is the bad performances tell us a lot more than the good performances. You probably know what I'm saying, or where I'm going with that. Lesson number 2 is, after watching this match against Oman, I can assure you Greg Berhalter is not going to play a 4-2-3-1. Because listen, Malik Tillman can and is most certainly a 10, a central attacking midfielder. And I know a lot of people were saying that he was playing a 10 with this game, but we didn't play in a 4-2-3-1 formation. Sure, he played a creative midfielder, and that is positive. That was good from Greg. Even though Tillman didn't have the best of games, he didn't have a terrible game, but not a great game. But Tillman didn't play as a 10. He played as an 8, which, as long as we have a midfield with maybe Musa McKennie and Gio Reyna, or Adams, McKennie, and Reyna, I'm okay with that. But the 4-2-3-1 with a double pivot and a 10 ahead of them, we're not going to see it. It's just not going to happen. It's going to be the 4-3-3. That's what Greg loves. That's what Greg likes. And that's what we're going to continue to see. But as I said in the stream, there are ways that a 4-3-3 can be effective, fluid, and creative. But what you have to do, and what's key about that, is the midfield. You want to have a destroyer, which is a player like Tyler Adams, a box-to-box, which is someone like Weston or Yunus Musa, and then you want to have a creator, which ideally it would be Gio Reyna with them, and not a destroyer like Tyler with 2 box-to-box midfielders ahead of them. That becomes very pragmatic, and then, you know, we just play Berhalter ball or melatonin ball, or as someone pointed out, it's NyQuil ball because it really puts you to sleep. We just whip in crosses, or exorcist ball because you just keep whipping in crosses. Lesson number 3 is pretty straightforward. I want to see Yunus Musa play the 6 against better opponents. And just so you can understand, he was very good against Oman as a 6, but he wasn't really challenged defensively, and he had a lot of time and space in the midfield because Oman, at one point, even seemed like they quit in the game. If I'm not mistaken, Yunus Musa also played as a 6 in the Nations League finals, even against Canada, for example, and he did very well. So maybe in the October camp, if Tyler's still not available, Johnny's not around, or he is, we'll see. I would like to see Yunus Musa get some minutes as a 6 against Ghana and Germany that are very challenging opponents, just to see how he behaves. I'm not saying he is a 6, but I'm saying he can be a valid option. Lesson number 4 is, I want to talk about our defensive shape on this specific game because I didn't like it. I know we got a clean sheet because it was Oman, I just didn't like it. Let's talk about it. So if you watch the game, you might have noticed that at times when we were in our defensive shape, it looked like a 4-4-2 diamond. Weston McKennie and Malik Tillman would drop a bit wide. Yunus Musa would stay as a 6. Pulisic and Weah would stay high up the field, and then Balogun was sort of dropping, almost looking like a central attacking midfielder when we were in the defensive shape. So it looked like a 4-4-2 diamond. And I didn't like that. I don't think that's the best way to utilize Balogun. He wouldn't be the one to connect or play make, and he was pushing high up the field later on, but not on the defensive shape, which kind of like nullifies and just doesn't give Balogun an option, or Balogun doesn't become an option in transition. And if you watch this season last year in France, Balogun is actually very dangerous in transition. And we talked about how we don't want to put the system above our best players. We want to build around our best players. Personally, I consider Balogun one of our best players, and using him in transition would be one of our fortes. So that defensive shape, I didn't like it too much. Will we see it again? Probably. Is whatever I'm saying here relevant? Probably not. Greg doesn't care, doesn't watch the channel, he doesn't give a crap. So that's all. Those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in that defensive shape, if you thought it was good or bad. Lesson number 5 is about Weston McKennie playing in what looked like a roaming playmaker role. And I want to make this clear. Weston McKennie to me was the man of the match. He was fantastic. Him and Yunus Musa were very good, but Weston McKennie to me was fantastic. And Oman was giving him so much time and space that they were making him look like freaking prime Andrea Pirlo. I'm not saying Weston is anywhere close to Andrea Pirlo, but you get the point. Now, my lesson with this is because I've watched Weston McKennie play so much for Schalke, Juventus, Leeds, I can assure you this is not his game, and against better opponents it wouldn't work. So I don't know if this is actually a lesson from this game, but from previous games against weaker opponents, sure, Weston can be a roaming playmaker and he will kill it, he'll destroy. He was fantastic. Against better opponents, this role won't work. So here's my question to you: why did we even try it? Lesson number 6 is we need to be better on set pieces, whether it is direct shots, whether it is crosses from corners, crosses from free kicks. It just hasn't been good enough. We haven't been taking advantage of set pieces. Sure, Brendan Aronson scored a goal off a set piece, but that free kick that he scored a goal was literally a bad free kick. Christian Pulisic wasn't good. We need to start taking advantage of these, because if we want to make a deep run in 2026, we will be the underdogs. And taking advantage of set pieces could be a way to, surprise your opponent, get a goal that maybe you can't create on your own because you don't have the ability to create a goal-scoring opportunity against an Argentina, Brazil, France. But set pieces, you can do it if you take advantage of it. And we haven't really been doing so. We didn't really do well against Uzbekistan in that sense, and we didn't do well against Oman as well. We'll see how it does in the October camp against Ghana and Germany, but it has to get better. Lesson number 7, and the last one, will not be about this game, because I actually ran out of lessons. Yes, I didn't have another one for this game. I told you the constipation was bad. I couldn't get it all out. But lesson number 7 is that L3 truly stinks. No pun intended with the constipation jokes, and stinks. So yeah, the Mexican national team is probably the worst one I have ever seen in my lifetime. They told me Tata Martino was the problem. Clearly he wasn't. They literally tied Uzbekistan 3-3, and Uzbekistan was resting a bunch of their players. It's ultimately an embarrassment. They tied Australia this camp. That's not too bad. Australia is not a bad team, but they tied Uzbekistan 3-3. They conceded 3 goals against Uzbekistan's B team or reserves. And I know Mexico didn't have all their best players, but Raul Jimenez played, Edson Alvarez, Johan Vazquez, and a lot of the reserves players. So it's an embarrassment, and since I didn't have a lesson, I just want to make fun of L3 for tying Uzbekistan. They made fun of the United States for beating Uzbekistan 3-0 with goals at the end of the game. And then they go on 2 or 3 days later to tie Uzbekistan 3-3. You can't make this stuff up. All right, everyone, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to drop a like before you go, and your lessons. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.